So this is the Asus ROG Zephyrus D016, and it's called the Duo because it has a little trick. You see, once you remove the keyboard, you then have two screens, and we'll chat about that later as I do have some thoughts on that. It is cool, don't get me wrong, but it does come with some trade-offs. Now for me, just initially what this solves is the classic problem of laptops only having one screen. So while you are traveling or going to a coffee shop or anywhere that isn't your perfect home studio, everything kind of falls apart unless you buy an external display, but then that comes with extra cables and all of the extra stuff that comes with that. Now, after spending some real time with the Zephyrus Duo, I can tell you straight away, this is not a normal laptop, and I've used the normal Zephyrus in the past, but this one is really cool nonetheless, so let's take a look. Now the unit that I had was the top spec configuration, so Intel Core Ultra 9, 64 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM, 2 terabytes of storage, and an RTX 5090 with 24 gigs of VRAM. This is about as far as you can push a laptop before it stops being a laptop and starts being like a small desktop replacement, which I think for probably most people that will be the case anyway. Now there is probably not a lot that you can throw at this that'll make it struggle too much. Plus it is more than the average gamer has in their desktops anyway. So for most gaming, you will be fine with the spec, sort of just straight out of the bat, throwing that out there. Now the Asus Zephyrus Duo does come in this dark gray color, which for me looks really cool. It doesn't leave fingerprints, which is something that I hate about laptops. If you sort of take it out and it's just littered with fingerprints, but with this one, you don't have that problem, which is great. Then you also have the strip at the back, which has these light patterns that flash. You can choose from a bunch of different sort of patterns for that as well. And then you have this very subtle ROG logo at the bottom, which I prefer. I'm not a massive fan of like massive branding, so having something a little bit more subtle, I love that more. But then what makes this laptop stand out is as soon as you open the lid and you remove the keyboard, you have a second screen. Now it isn't immediately visible like with the Asus ZenBook Pro Duo 14, which I had, which has more of this half screen that always pops out at all times. This one can still sort of be used as a standard laptop, but then if you need the second screen, you can just lift the entire keyboard section off, and then you have a full screen at the bottom, which is a little bit more useful for me as well. And then these displays are also not gimmicky. They are both 1100 nit 3K OLED touchscreen panels with a 16:10 aspect ratio, 120 Hz refresh rate, HDR, G-Sync, everything that you would need from a gaming monitor or even a productivity machine for photo and video editing. These have got you covered. Build quality also feels properly premium. This is Asus's Halo product, so it should be. It has a CNC'd aluminum body that makes the laptop feel very premium, but with the kickstand and just the sheer thickness of the Duo 16, this laptop also isn't light at all. And that's probably one of the first few downsides for me of the Duo 16. And don't get me wrong, if you were to travel with an extra display, you would probably be in the same sort of boat anyway. But if you wanted something that's a little bit more portable and the second screen isn't a must for you, then I would probably suggest just going for the standard single screen Zephyrus compared to this one. You still get amazing performance as they go up to 5080s on the GPU side, and they still have Ultra 9 processors, but it will be a whole lot easier and lighter to carry around with you. So if you don't really need that second screen and portability is more important for you, then like I said, straight off the bat, maybe just consider the standard Zephyrus instead of the Zephyrus Duo. Now when it comes to ports, most people will probably be fine with all the ports on here. For me, the LAN port is missing. Would have loved to see that, especially on like a gaming laptop, but I do understand with like the layout and the configuration, really not that possible. But on the left side, you do have your charging port, which is almost like a proprietary port. Then you also have a USB-C port above it to charge the keyboard module if it isn't attached to the laptop. Then you also have a full-sized HDMI port, a USB Type-A and USB Type-C port, as well as a 3.5mm audio jack. On the other side, you do have a USB Type-C, Type-A, as well as an SD card reader, which is a nice to have. And then of course you also have your power button. Then you even have this really nice kickstand to allow you to orientate your dual screens any way you like. So whether you have it stacked horizontal, vertical stacked, flipped, or even sort of like a pyramid shape to have people across from each other see the screens, which could be cool, you know, if you have someone in a meeting and you're sort of at a coffee shop, you can just sort of plonk it over. Now, firstly, both of these displays, like I mentioned before, are OLED, so it isn't much of a surprise, but watching content and playing games both look amazing. So in terms of that, really can't fault them at all. Plus they're both, like mentioned before, 120 Hz, so great for gaming as well. Now, because you have two screens for gaming, you can throw sort of a Discord at the bottom. You can have a stream chat if you're a streamer. You can, put on Spotify, or just a strategy guide for a game at the bottom screen while you're playing, which would be really helpful in games like Diablo. For editing or content creation, the second screen is great for either having your timeline and everything at the bottom, then you have your screen to see what you're editing. You can have references at the bottom. You can have your sort of folders if you easily want to drag between things. You can have different tabs open if you like watching videos or listening to music. It's really useful for that. And then for general day-to-day use, you can have videos playing on the one while you work. You can have your two productivity screens where you have sort of Slack on the one, or a web browser, or anything else that you really have. The options are limitless, just like you would have with sort of a general two monitor setup. But with this one, the two monitors are connected and they are one. And like I mentioned earlier, you can still use this laptop as a single monitor laptop. And if or when needed, you can just take off the keyboard and you have your second screen with you. There isn't this weird limbo of when you're leaving the house, like, do I need my second monitor with me? And do I need to pack it or not? You don't have to worry about that, because with this one, it is always there, which is pretty cool. So you can't really forget it. You can forget your keyboard, so don't forget that. But then this is still a gaming laptop. So when it comes to performance, this leaves nothing on the table. Like I said, a 5090 with 24 gigs of VRAM. This thing is built to chew through the newest games at the highest settings. Now, I did try a wide range of games from old to new, ranging from the new Halo remake to Cyberpunk, which is just a classic to test. I also played Warzone, Counter-Strike 2, Black Myth Wukong, and so much more to see how it performs with all of these different titles, and it just crushed it. With all of them, I just went full tilt and set the graphics to as high as possible and started playing. Now, I do have to mention with Warzone, I did have to turn the map detail down to medium, as there is apparently this glitch with 50 series cards that if you have it on high, it just crashes the game, which it did for me multiple times. I turned it down and it fixed it for me. But other than that, I left all of the games on max to see what it can do. And then of course, if you want more frames out of your games, you can just dial some of the settings back, and you have this sort of baseline. Now, worth calling out, the fans on this laptop is actually the quietest fans that I've probably ever heard on a gaming laptop. And I used to have two Strix gaming laptops that would embarrass me in varsity, as they would just spin up for the simplest of tasks and it would just sound like a jet engine firing off. I tested a bunch of other gaming laptops in the past, and this one is really not nearly as loud as you would expect it to be. So I don't know if the liquid metal that they use is doing much of the heavy lifting there, or the new fan design that they have, but overall the cooling and the fan noise is really decent. But then we also get to the elephant in the room, and that is battery life. Honestly, gaming laptops in general aren't great, just because they have extremely powerful hardware that chows the battery, and with this one having dual screens, a 5090, an Ultra 9 chip, this one isn't really any better. Now, from using it for the last couple of weeks, I did get anywhere from like 2.5 to like 4 hours of battery life, mostly towards like 3 hours. And this is from, typing scripts, downloading games, and just watching videos, using it for like general use cases. But then when you actually start playing games, that dips down to around like an hour to like an hour and a half, maybe 2. And even though I do have to say it was really impressive to see the gaming performance on laptop, the battery life itself means that you'll have to charge this after every gaming session or like every couple of rounds. And if you're someone that plays games like Warzone, Fortnite, or Counter-Strike, which in my opinion are notorious for gaming sessions that last for hours, you can add Overwatch and all of these other games to that as well, you will have to plug it in if you're expected, to play like 3 or 4 rounds. And once again, this isn't a massive shock and it shouldn't be for anyone, but setting expectations now, this isn't a laptop that you're gonna take with you on a flight and spend sort of the next 8 to 10 hours playing games on without sort of charging it. Plus, this isn't even a work laptop that you will take with you to the office and then accidentally forget your charger at home and think you're gonna get through the entire day sort of with one sort of single charge. But that is probably what these ZenBooks are for anyway. So if you're looking for a productivity laptop with 2 screens, like I said, maybe look at that one. But then the biggest question is, should you actually buy this thing? And honestly, this laptop is, for me, a pretty specific type of person that would buy this. Someone who wants a flagship gaming laptop, you know, genuinely plans to use the second screen daily, whether that's for streaming, multitasking while gaming, or just using it as an extra workspace for editing. And at this price point, if you don't actually see yourself using the second screen on a day-to-day basis, a single screen flagship like the standard Zephyrus G16 will get you similar core gaming performance for meaningfully less money. But if the dual screen workflow is generally something that you want and need, and budget isn't the deciding factor, then this is one of the most interesting and capable machines that I've ever tested from Asus or sort of anyone in general. But then, as always, until next time, cheers.